are Fundación Jocotoco, an Ecuadorian conservation foundation. What we do is we combine area-based conservation with targeted and specific actions to prevent the extinction of threatened species. Our model is to establish reserves to protect some of the most threatened habitats and species on the world. And we do this here in Ecuador, where we established 16 reserves. We hire the local people who have that strong and intimate connection to the land, and thereby we are able, first of all, to protect incredible places of biodiversity and those areas that are most threatened in Ecuador. And second, the local people that we employ become local ambassadors of conservation. They transforms the communities around our reserves, and at the same time their local perspective also transforms us as a conservation organization. Our work is important because we protect some of the most threatened but also richest places in the world in terms of biodiversity. And with our work, we prevent the extinction of species. Some of them have very low population sizes, and what we have seen throughout our network of reserves is that we can protect these species through targeted conservation actions, but also we see that by protecting the reserves, a lot of population bounce back. Even populations of very large species such as jaguars, spectacled bears or mountain tapirs, they all become more common than what they used to be because our model of conservation is effective by protecting them against hunting and deforestation. The wonderful thing about conservation is that everyone can become involved. You guys can come to visit us in our reserves because your entrance fee will directly help our conservation. We have also the possibilities of volunteering in projects specific to protect threatened species, and you can help us in reforesting some of the deforested areas around our reserves. And finally, of course, you can also help us through donations that we can use to expand our reserves and protect further areas within this wonderful hotspots of biodiversity.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to another session of our World Ranger Day Festival. It has been such a great day so far. We've been traveling around the world, talking to different organizations, meeting incredible rangers from South America, Asia, Africa, Europe, all over the place. So it's really great to hear their stories, to hear their passion, their dedication. They're incredible people on the front lines of protecting our biodiversity. So we owe them a lot, and it's such a great day to be able to recognize them all over the world. So we're going to head now to South America, and we're heading to Ecuador. And we're going to spend a little time with Veronica. Veronica is with the Jocotoco Foundation. And Ecuador, for those who may not know, is a beautiful country right on the equator, beautiful rainforest, tons of biodiversity. But of course, like most places, it is under threat. So Veronica, it's so great to have you joining us live today. I'd love it if maybe you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit of your role with Jocotoco.
Thank you, Joe, and thanks everyone for having us here and let us to talk about our job and what we are doing in the field in Ecuador. My role in Jocotoco is the executive director. Mainly, I work with all my teams to make sure that our mission of protecting biodiversity and flora in Ecuador is accomplished. So I work with park guards, I work with the conservation team, with our communication team, and I'm in front of the foundation here in Ecuador.
All right, good stuff. Well, we're going to kind of have a little bit of a discussion now, and through that discussion, we're going to share a few videos of some of the rangers and some of the work that they do in the protected area. So I'd love to start first with, a little bit about the rainforest, about the region that you're working so hard to protect.
So we have a network of 16 reserves here in Ecuador. We protect more than 24,000 hectares in the whole country. We have reserves in all the regions of the country. We have a reserve in Galapagos, in the coast. We have reserves in the Andean region, and we have reserves in the Amazon region. So we protect a very, very wide range of ecosystems here in the country. We have some of the most threatened ecosystems protected, such as the Chocó. We have the Amazon regions, as I mentioned. We have some of the paramos as well and wetlands here. So we have a lot of ecosystems here. And for example, the Chocó is one of the most threatened ecosystems in the world. Just the 2% of the primary ecosystem is remaining in the area that we are protecting. So you can see the importance of those ecosystems to be protected.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be challenging, so many different ecosystems, and I'm sure you have to approach the conservation in many different ways.
Yeah. Basically, our main approach is to have base management conservation initiatives. So, for example, our park guards are fundamental to accomplish this mission and this approach. All of our park guards are people from the localities around our reserves. Without them, we couldn't do anything. Like, as you mentioned, there are so many ecosystems that just when people cannot know all of them or everything about them. So we trust in our park guards being the people who knows more about those ecosystems. They are the people who live there. They have been living in there. They know that since they are childs or the young people. So their knowledge is very valuable for us.
All right. Well, I think this is the perfect time to play our first clip and meet our first group. And I think it's a good spot because they're going to talk a little bit about, kind of the way things were before things really started to change. So I'll let you introduce who we're going to see now, and then we'll play the clip.
Yep, sure. We are going to we're going to meet Jacinto and Alcides. Jacinto de la Cruz and Alcides Zambrano, they are two park guards who are working in the Canandel Reserve. They are protecting the Chocó ecosystem, as I mentioned before. This is one of the most threatened and less known ecosystem in the world. It's just 2% of the ecosystem is remaining in Ecuador, and they are part of the team who is protecting that. They are amazing people. They have been working for us more than 15 years. They have been working with communities, working in the reserve. They have learned about birds and fauna and flora. So they are beautiful, beautiful and amazing people.
Yo soy de Zapallo, yo me crié en Zapallo, en el mismo pueblo donde vive él.
¿Y usted nació en Zapallo o ustedes vinieron de algún?
Yo vine de Manaví. Hubo un tiempo, una época que fue demasiado seco, que no llovía, los animales se morían, no había agua, nada. Entonces la gente comenzaron a migrar a esta parte de Esmeralda que había más agua. En esta zona hay más manaba que esmeraldeño ya mismo.
¿Y cómo era Zapallo antes?
Zapallo antes era como este bosque de aquí.
En el 85, 86, aquí llovía día y noche, hasta 8 días seguidos.
Aquí no se veía el sol.
Nunca se veía el sol.
El río, el Canandé, ahí siempre pasaba a full el río, no había pan. Invierno y verano pasaba casi.
Y no mismo. Así como ahorita que la agua es sucia, era cristalina el agua.
Sí. En este año de la pandemia, aquí diariamente entran gente que nunca hemos visto acá. Gente de las ciudades que se vienen a vivir, gente que han perdido los trabajos y tienen sus tierras acá, que nunca la han trabajado, entonces ahí vienen y abajo. La gente entiende, pero ya como le digo, la necesidad. Si ellos no tienen otra cosa de que cómo vivir, así sepa el riesgo que están teniendo con el bosque, no les queda de otra. Lo único que se puede hacer como por esa parte de Pedro Vicente, Portoquito, Mindo, esas partes son que la gente se han ido haciendo turismo. Entonces puede ser que diga, no, pues si traer turista aquí me da para vivir, entonces traigo turista y y conservan el bosque.
Yo he visto muchos bosques que han estado así, completito. Vienen los botes, vuelan todos. Y pasa el tiempo y no han hecho nada. Hay personas que tienen súper inteligentes, son demasiado, que saben las cosas, pero no miran hacia el futuro. Porque si se acaban los bosques, más contaminaciones, más epidemias y todo eso.
Y esto si no se cuida, solo vamos a quedar para contar la historia nomás, porque como es Jacinto, los nietos no van a ver, no van a saber lo que es bosque. Solamente van a escuchar las historias nomás como ha sido. Y se van a quedar con las ganas ellos de conocer el bosque, lo que ha sido la naturaleza.
All right, so there's a lot involved in being a ranger. I think a lot of people, when they think about rangers, they think security, but there's so many more roles that a ranger plays, whether it's education in the community, monitoring biodiversity, collecting data with things like camera traps and such. So I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about some of the roles, some of the hats that the rangers wear.
Yep. So yes, some people think that the main role of a park ranger is patrolling. That's something that they do. That's something that comes with the job. They have to walk long distances. They have to walk in the middle of the forest or in the middle of the paramo here in the Andes, or they have to go to the jungle. But beside that, they are not just guardians. They people who knows the ecosystem. They have to work in the management of their reserves. That means that they have to take care of their reserves, that they have to sometimes talk with the people, with the neighbors, when they have some troubles with boundaries or things like that. They have to go to the schools. They have to give talks. They have to go with the local governments as well. It's not that they just have to patrol something. Another main role that they have is they are the first support when people goes to monitoring something or doing research. They monitor as well. For example, as you mentioned, with camera traps, they are the people who allocate the camera traps. They collect the information. They made the first analysis of the information, and some of them. They also help the researchers with more than the first aid in the research. We have one of our park guards. They even been mentioned in a scientific article because of their commitment and support to that investigation. So they have a lot of roles. They don't have just one thing to do. For example, in our work, we have 5 lodges in whole Ecuador because tourism is one of our means of getting funds or support conservation. So our park guards, sometimes they have to be involved with tourists as well. They have to accompany them. They have to go with them to the forest, and they have to show them how is the ecosystem and what kind of birds they can see. They have to deal as well with volunteers sometimes. So it's like having a lot of jobs in just one job. Obviously, their main role is to be in nature. So I think that is the most funny part about that.
All right. Well, we're going to meet 2 more rangers now through some video clips. So let's start off with the first one. I'll get you to introduce it. So let's check in with Patricio first and learn a little bit more about what he does.
Patricio is one of our newest park guards. He works in Las Balsas Reserve. Las Balsas is located in Santa Elena province. It's in the coast. And Las Balsas protects the biggest roosting site of the Amazona lilacina in the world. We have monitoring and registered more than 1,000 lilas in just one view, and Patricio is there to protect them. Patricio were born in Las Balsas. He's a very active member of the comuna, and we are very happy to have him. He was a hunter, and that is very amazing because he used and every time that we go there, he talk about how he changed his life about being a hunter and now protecting the same forest where he used to hunt. It's very nice.
All right, let's meet Patricio.
Mi nombre es Patricio Reyes Ramírez. Trabajo como guardaparque para la Fundación Jocotoco en la reserva de la comuna Las Balsas. Bueno, la parte favorita de mi trabajo como guardaparque de la Fundación Jocotoco es monitorear la Amazona linacina en los dormitorios, que me da una gran satisfacción de ver una cantidad de loros que van ahí del Amazonas, se perchan ahí a dormir, y subir arriba al bosque, a la cordillera Chongón Colonche, donde hacemos el monitoreo también del guacamayo Guayaquil. En mi recorrido que yo he hecho en el transecto de mi juventud hasta la fecha que tengo esta edad, verme encontrado cerca de donde ha estado de pronto durmiendo o descansando el jaguar, escuchar sus gruñidos o sus gemidos. Y lo más impactante en mi recorrido yendo hacia el bosque y ver los nidos del guacamayo con sus pichones cuando ya están a punto de volar, o sea, ya en reproducción. Ha sido tan increíble. Mi juventud, digamos, de mi niñez, y comencé a ver estos bosques, eran unos bosques tan maravillosos, donde se veía la especie de guayacán, bálsamo, tillo, palo de vaca, todo. Entonces, nuestros ancestros, nos enseñaron a cortar madera, o sea, vivíamos de la madera, de la tala de árbol. Pero después en un transecto de que íbamos avanzando, veíamos que ya la tala de madera era muy discriminadamente. Entonces cambiamos nuestra labor de trabajo. Nos fuimos a hacer, ya no seguir talando madera así como digamos, especie de madera, o sea, sacar para vender a la ciudad, sino ya nos dedicamos a hacer desmontaciones en ciertas partes para cultivar maíz, ¿ya? Entonces, cuando vimos que ya esa producción de maíz y no era rentable, dimos un giro vuelta nos dedicamos un poco a la caza de animales, porque había alto venado. Entonces, cuando vimos que también las especies se estaban extinguiendo, dejamos de cazar. Y de allí ya entramos a la parte ya a hacer conciencia a la conservación. Ese es el sueño de nosotros, mantener este bosque, mantener toda esta biodiversidad que nos rodea a nivel del mundo.
So, all right, well, incredible work Patricio is doing, and great to have him join us virtually for the festival. And now let's meet another ranger. Let's meet Renee.
Yep, René Zambrano, he works in the coast as well. He works in the Rio Ayampe Reserve. He protects some turtles, and he also protects the second tiniest hummingbird in the world. It's the Esmeralda's good star. He's very committed with his work. One of the funny aspects of him is that every time that he goes to the field and listens a bird, he tells you something about the sound. He made some sound as well. I think that the most important thing about his job, but he has been working with a reintroduction project of some birds in the coast, and he has been able to reintroduce like more than 20 birds in an ecosystem.
Great. All right. Let's meet Renee.
Mi nombre es René Orlando Zambrano Guerrero. Trabajo para la Fundación Jocotoco. Estamos en proyecto de guacamayos, hacemos limpieza de árboles en las reservas y monitoreamos también las tortugas, tanto en las tunas como en la esmeralda. Y hacemos monitoreo de aves en la cuenca del río Yampe, en la esmeralda. Buscamos nido de colibrí, esmeralda, y también hacemos monitoreo de aves. Porque si no protegemos el medio ambiente, no tenemos que dejar a nuestras futuras generaciones, ¿no? Porque si protegemos bosque, protegemos las aves, los mamíferos, nuestros hijos y nuestros nietos que vienen detrás de nosotros van a poder tener el gusto de ver las mismas especies que nosotros ahora estamos viendo. Pero si no hacemos nada y nos quedamos con los brazos cruzados, lamentablemente se va a perder todo. Considero que la ruta de la Yampe es la más importante en esta zona, sur de Manabí, porque puedes observar aves a cada rato. En cualquier hora, no hay que salir muy temprano para ver aves, puedes verla. Y es llena de riqueza, tanto en aves como en mamíferos, anfibios, reptiles. Una flora muy buena que hay en Ayampi. Es importante protegerla, porque si ya, como digo, si no protegemos ahora, pues no tenemos que, no podemos ni siquiera pensar en qué vamos a dejar a nuestras futuras generaciones. Y es muy importante para la comunidad, porque de una u otra manera es la única fuente de agua que se tiene en esta ruta, ¿no? Que es el río Yampe, que es importantísimo para la supervivencia tanto de seres humanos como de plantas y de animales, ¿no? Entonces yo creo que es un tema muy importante que debemos de tomar en cuenta y hacer conciencia de que si no salvamos esta parte de la Yampe, pues a futuro pues no sabemos qué vamos a tener.
Our final clip that we're going to check out today, we're going to meet Fanny. So, you know, the role of a ranger, I think, has been male dominated for a long time, but it's exciting to see that a lot more females are starting to join the ranger force and get out in the field, whether it's research, security, biodiversity monitoring, and so on. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about Fanny before we check out her video.
Yep. So Fanny was part of our Jocotours team. Jocotours, as I mentioned, is the tourism area that we have in Jocotoco. And she used to deal with tourists. So when COVID came to the scene, we have to assure that she gets some activities and she gets her work. So we decided to get her involved in some reforestation projects. That was the main thing that we thought it could work, and it was amazing. It was really, really good. She's very organized. She's really committed with her work. She started with a community reforestation project in another reserve as well named Tesoro Escondido, working along with them. And now she's in charge of her own reforestation project. She's taking care of 4 endemic trees, which are endangered right now, and they are endemics of the Chocó region. She has been able of reproducing some of these species that are in danger and that you cannot found the trees. So it has been amazing. She used to be just involved with the cook and hospitality, and now she's walking through the forest and knowing about these species. And we are having plans to get her involved in another projects and research about magnolias. So it has been really, really nice to get her involved in these projects.
All right, that's great. Let's check it out.
Este proyecto se realizó para poder plantar especies que están en peligro de extinción, entre ellas las magnolias. Pero son 4 especies, son las magnolias canadianas, la magnolia dixoni, el equidendrum y la matisa palenquiana. Yo trabajaba actualmente con el turismo aquí en la cabaña, en el comedor. Por motivos de pandemia me pasaron a trabajar con un proyecto de reforestación. Se aprenden muchas cosas que uno, al menos yo lo digo por mí misma, que antes me parecía algo insignificante, porque yo antes había salido al bosque, pero como que no me fijaba, esa semilla, ¿qué será? ¿De qué árbol será? ¿Qué importancia tendrá? Entonces ahora ya al conocer que esta especie está en peligro de extinción y que es endémica de aquí de Canandé, por lo cual se llama magnolia canadiana, entonces como que es algo que, wow, o sea, enfocarse en eso es algo maravilloso. Es que la primera vez que intenté germinar magnolia no tenía conocimiento de que iba a tener como que una tasa súper baja en germinación. Entonces yo dije, no, ahora que empezó este proyecto neto solo de magnolias, no, esta vez tiene que funcionarme sí o sí, porque la otra vez colecté tanta semilla y el esfuerzo y el tiempo, porque solo las introducimos en las camas para que germinaran y ya, nunca las procesamos, nunca las pesamos ni nada por el estilo. Entonces yo ahora como que llevamos ya un proceso ya más estricto desde la colección hasta la germinación. Con la otra magnolia, la dixoni, porque son 2 especies que estamos reproduciendo, no hay mayor problema, porque en los 3 sustratos ha germinado el 50% de la totalidad de esa semilla. En cambio, de las magnolias canadianas hay un porcentaje súper bajo de 7 a 30% de un 100% de semillas. Sí, esperemos que la gente no los tale, porque hay 3 propiedades donde encontramos magnolias canadianas. Entonces con esas personas ya se hablaron mis compañeros y con la otra persona hablé yo de la importancia de estos árboles y por qué los monitoreamos y por qué siempre andamos colectando sus semillas para reproducirlas. Entonces ellos han comprometido a no talarles. Entonces no sabemos si eso va a ser mientras nosotros estemos incluidos en el proyecto y los vayamos a monitorear, o sea, todo el tiempo, pero esperemos que no les tarde. Pocas son las personas que se acogen a proyectos comunitarios, como que toda la gente de por acá, si le hablamos de reforestación, es como que no, o sea, yo talé para sembrar, porque necesito cultivar cacao para tener mis vacas, y entonces ¿para qué voy a reforestar otra vez? O sea, si yo no cultivo algo, o sea, ¿cómo educo a mis hijos? ¿Cómo les doy de comer? Solo vivimos del campo. Entonces todo el mundo tala absolutamente todo el bosque y mete cacao, hierba para el potrero, no sé, cosas así. Por eso me gustó bastante el proyecto pasado, cómo la gente se involucra en estas cosas e ir haciendo ver también a la gente cosas que yo he aprendido y que antes me parecían como que, bueno, o sea, no pasa nada, no me interesa. Entonces eso es lo que la gente normalmente hacemos. Entonces ya cuando nos involucramos en estos trabajos ya vemos la realidad de otra manera. Entonces eso sí sería bueno que la gente de la comunidad y de otras partes también lo entiendan como nosotros lo hemos entendido. Yo sé que después de que surjan otros proyectos comunitarios que haya dirigidos a la comunidad de parte de Jocotoco, yo sé que ellos se van a acoger gustosamente. Yo sé que esta vez sí vamos a tener ya como que más acogida a la gente con los proyectos. Por algo se empieza, ya después ya no se va a hacer tan complicado.
All right. Well, Veronica, amazing video clips. And, that's just a small part of the team that does so much protecting all of these different ecosystems. So a huge shout out to the entire team. And it was really great to meet a few of the park rangers today. So I think that a great place to kind of wrap up for today is to talk a little bit about, your role as the executive director. You get to see a lot of what's happening in different places, a lot of stories. And I'm wondering, is there something that really inspires you or a moment you're really proud of that kind of keeps you going and doing what you do?
Yeah, I think that like every time that I see how the park gardens are growing, that really inspires me. For example, at the moment we are trying to strengthen their abilities and their skills, their capacity to work in the field, or to improve the spaces where they are living. We are focusing a lot on them because they are the people who has the land in their hands. So every time that I go to the reserves, every time that I talk with them, every time that I see that they are learning, they are caring, they are like just living in their reserves and believing what they're doing, that really inspires me. Like I think that when I started in this environmental thing, one of the first people that I met doing this, it was a park guard, not the park guards in Jocotoco, but some of them. Now they are really committed with their work. So I think that that's the main thing that I can and I love about my job, to help people to be their best self. I think that is the main thing that inspires me to do my job.
All right, excellent. Well, Veronica, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us on World Ranger Day. Jocotoco is doing incredible work across the reserves, across the varying ecosystem, empowering people in the community to take an active role, educating, bringing tourism into the country in a sustainable way. So, thank you for all the work that you do as the executive director. Obviously, Martin, who we met earlier, and all of the rangers, not just the ones who we met today.
Thank you very much, Joe, for this space, for the initiative that you have with this whole event, and let us talk about Jocotoco, about our park guards, about our job, and for giving us everyone as a space to just share our experiences.
All right, excellent. Well, we look forward to connecting again in the future. But for now, have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Veronica.
Bye.